Okay, I'm now in the middle of at the top of the Comenda Palace, looking out from this most amazing vantage point, which is the very, very top terrace. I just noticed that I wasn't filming, so I'm going to do everything all again, so you get everything all again. So here we are, we've got the best view of Setable, and over here you've got this wonderful view of Troyes Resort. And I'm going to very quickly rattle through the history. This is the Comenda Palace in the Serra da Arrábida National Park. Dates back to the 18th century. And over here you've got the Atlantic Ocean. And we are right on the top bit. I realised I wasn't filming, so I'm now going to start all over again. It dates back to the 18th century. And in 1840 it's been a royal palace. In 1848 it was sold by Maria, Queen of Portugal, or in fact it may have been bought by her then actually. I think it was probably bought by her at that time, either bought or sold. I have to double check on that one, but it was then in 1872 it was purchased by Henri Armand. He purchased it in 1872, who was a minister of France, and he then lived in it until he died in the 1880s, and his son, who was Count Abel obviously took it over, inherited it, and commissioned Raul Lino, the renowned top architect in Portugal at the time. He commissioned him to restore the palace in the modern manner, and the modern manner then, a classical style, was arts and crafts. So this is a very grand Portuguese style, very grand arts and crafts style, very much like the United Kingdom Lush style. This is the Portuguese Lush style, and this architect Raul Lino did some amazing mansions and buildings of that time, and he's seen as the best Portuguese architect of that era. And as you see here, this is a 26-room palace on 5 floors, set in 589 hectares of land, with stunning views of the Serra Peninsula and the Atlantic over here, and it's got its own private beach. Now, once this is turned back into a resort, when you look down that beach there, that will be all beautiful sand. They'll get rid of those rocks, and it will be all beautified with fresh sand every season, and it will look wonderful. At the moment it doesn't, it's not really used. So we're now going to go down. Now I realised I wasn't filming, which is a bit annoying. So here we go, we're going to go down here. So this is basically the way down to, sorry, this is the way down, he says. There we go. This is the way down via the sort of poor man's, or the right view entrance. Here we have where the roof's caved in. Here you've got a wonderful little arts and crafts attic bedroom there. You've got the ceiling falling in there. We're going to do a little tour. Look at one of the rooms. Now these rooms are very, very boxy, like a Victorian room. And in the box you can see little squares gone in where someone's put a bath or a shower and a toilet. Now we're going to go back down here, because obviously I wasn't filming before, so you're going to have to put up with me all over again, looking at the rooms. So here we've got very, very boxy rooms. Now, in this 26-room palace, it has 10 bedrooms. And obviously as a hotel it will need more, so it'll have to have more adjacent. So you've got all the same stuff going on. You've got all those lovely rooms and lovely ceilings. Here you've got the ceilings actually falling in on itself, which is a grave, grave shame. But this is a national monument, and they did a wonderful job restoring it from its mid-18th century construction. And in the Lutyens style, which is obviously by Raul Lino, they did an amazing job, and it has about 2 to 5 years before more horrific damage will be done to this until it's fixed. So now it's got its chance to be redone, which is very, very exciting. So here you can see we're now looking at the stairway where it's all caving in. So we're not going to walk down the stairs there because obviously you might kind of fall and break a leg. But you can see there the way the deterioration has happened is very, very sad. It wouldn't take much to put this right. It really wouldn't. I mean, it's at that stage now where it isn't that bad. It's not that bad. So here we've got the second terrace. I did do this before, but unfortunately I wasn't filming. So over here we've got the second terrace. Once again, wonderful, wonderful views of the Atlantic. And you've got wonderful views of Troy Resort and the Serra Peninsula, and wonderful, wonderful views of Setúbal. And over here you can see the balustrades caved in, which is a grave shame. And then you can see this wonderful pergola terrace. And I have photographs of when it was built, when that was built, looking very, very splendid. But unfortunately now it's looking rather sad. But when it's done, it will look spectacular again. It will look very, very good. And so it will be a really, really wonderful palace again, a wonderful royal palace. So we're going to go walk back through here again. We've got the old shuttering doors there. So as we walk down, you see this wonderful grand stairway. Now we're going to walk around here. We've got company again, by the way, just sort of let you know. And so you can see there, it's all caved in a bit. So we're going to back down here, and we're going to down the stairs. I am absolutely terrified of heights, so you have to bear with me when I scream. There you go. I don't do heights, by the way. I think in a past life I fell off something and died. So anyway, here we go. We're going to go into the dining room once again because it wasn't filming. This is the I don't want to call it the lazy butler or whatever, but this is the method where they get food from down below and bring it up. And over here you've got the grand dining room. Wonderful, wonderful grand windows there, and stunning layout here. You can swing round. It's an absolutely stunning view. Now we're going to see the lower terrace here, the lower terrace, and as we swing around through the lower terrace, you're going to see more stunning views of the Atlantic Ocean and the Serra Peninsula. I'm going to take you out here because before it wasn't filming, so you haven't got me rattling away. So I'm going to swing around here. You can see this wonderful lush and style arts and crafts building. As we go up there, you can see you're looking splendid, absolutely splendid. And we're going to swing around here again. One of my favourite things is period properties like this. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. I think they're a testament to time and they're a celebration of the architect. And it's just incredible the way it's just stuck on like a cliff. Look at the drop. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. That drop down there. I'm going to swing around so you can see really clearly. It is the defining piece in this whole landscape. This home is the defining piece. And once again, I'm going to stand back and say, look, these are the arts and crafts pillars here. This type of style of the art just came in around the 1890s, but it kind of carried on for 20 years. And don't forget, from 1885, you had motor cars, some electric powered, some petrol powered. So it was a modern era. And houses like these, although it's done in a period style, it would have been a very, very modern, high-tech home with all the modern amenities like electric lights and things like that. So it's not although it's a period home, a period mansion or period palace, it will have a lot of high-tech stuff in it. Now here we go, let's look here. So this is the grand entrance or the grand stairway leading up. Now what a shame seeing that like that. I mean, it'd be great when it's all done up and looking beautiful again, but unfortunately at the moment it's not looking beautiful. You're going to swing around here. You look around there, okay. So we're going to swing around again, and this is the grand dining room. Wonderful windows, looking really splendid. Really, really splendid. Lots of great graffiti. I must say, I love the graffiti. Really do. So we're going to go back down here. And once again, I'm terrified of the stairways. So just bear with me if I scream. I scream. It's just one less thing. Go down here. And we go down here. And just one little look round. Remember, that's the kitchen on the left. Oh, I better shake because I wasn't filming before. This is the kitchen. You can see it's got new tiles in here, but you can see where the cookers were. These aren't the original 20th century tiles. And then you've got other buildings here. Now we're going to walk out here. We had guests there 3 times. We're going to swing out here and let you see it's the glory. Swing the camera around. There we go. Isn't that amazing? What a wonderful home. Wonderful proportions. It's a shame actually this isn't very. Oop, let me swing it around. This isn't. I can't get it all in the one shot, so I'm gonna have to move back more. Okay, so there we are. It's a 26 room, 10 bedroom palace, falling apart, but solid and restorable very, very quickly, with incredible views. Now, what we're also going to do now, we're going to walk up and show you the outbuildings. The trees are amazing here. These are all very special trees planted here. Normally they did that in Victorian times and Georgian times. They planted some incredible trees, and those trees are a testament to their great interest in horticulture. Now we're going to swing around over here. We're going to look at this pergola, and so you can get a scale of it. As I mentioned before, if you're watching this video, which you are, I would have sent you, or you would have seen my images of people in this terrace over 100 years ago, enjoying drinks and nibbles. So there you see, I mean, the proportions are spectacular. I mean, really are spectacular. And this is stairway there, and I'm going to zoom up a little bit there. Now we're going to walk around here. It has its own private walkway to its own private beach, which is nice. As I mentioned before, when you look down there, that beach, in order to get it back to tourist levels, all those rocks and boulders have to go, and they have to each season bring in sand and plonk it down and make it look beautiful, and to really, you know, attract the tourists, because as it is, it won't work. It won't work. So there we have it. There we have it. One rather spectacular palace. Once again, this is the Comenda Palace, set in 589 hectares of the Serra de Arrábida National Park. Dates back to 18th century. It looks a bit like Colditz Castle, doesn't it, from here? So we swing around there. We had guests with us 3 times when I was walking around there, just to let you know. I don't really mind these things, but it's probably one of the owners, or someone that worked there. It was, my guessing is it was sold by Maria, Queen of Portugal, or bought, one of the, so I've got to double check because I've got conflicting information here. It was rebuilt and designed by Raul Lino. He started the design in 1903. Now, the Count Abel Henri Armand, who was a minister of France, a politician. Now, my guess is this would have been a diplomatic home, and this could have been, I guess you could have classed it as an embassy. So it's 5 floors, 26 rooms. Now, so Henry purchased it in 1872, and he died in the mid-1880s. And his young son, I mean very, very young, late teens, early 20s, took it over. And at the turn of the 20th century, Count Abel Armand, he then, sorry, my brain's gone dead, commissioned the architect Paulino, to do the redesign on this Georgian, what we would call Georgian home in the UK. I don't know whether they call it Georgian home in Portugal, but we would call it Georgian. So the remodel in the arts and crafts manner, and he got Paulino, who was a very highly respected architect at the time, to sit out at night and lie on his back in the Serra de Arrábida National Park. In fact, to sleep overnight in the park so that he could really appreciate the nature. He was a real naturist, and so that the design would reflect the landscape and the trees and the whole remit. And so basically he was commissioned to do design in 1903, and the mansion was rebuilt and completed in 1909. And I've showed pictures, or you would have seen them now, of the mansion being built. Now, the Count, who was also a politician, he was a politician, sorry, but he was a diplomat. He was a diplomat. Obviously, through his diplomatic sources, he knew the Kennedys, and so when Robert Kennedy was assassinated in 1963, it was only fitting that he offered this as a bolt hole for Jackie Kennedy, or later Jackie Onassis, to mourn and bring the children. And so that's what she did, and so this is locally known as Jackie Kennedy's house, and so all the more reason to restore it and beautify it. This is the home that Jackie Kennedy, all the way from America after the assassination, the murder of her husband, would come to recoup with her children before going back to the United States. So, okay, what we're going to do now, I'm going to show you the outbuilding. So we're going to walk up here. It's quite a ways. I'm going to rattle on quite a bit, really. So you can see here we have a security building there. Got a security building there. And actually, I'm not going to show you the outbuilding, because I think you probably kind of appreciate outbuildings are outbuildings. So they're all a bit derelict and looking naff, but they're up there. This part on this side of the road is 19.5 hectares, but the palace site and the owner who owns the palace and the site owns all 589 hectares. So that's quite a big site, And so to see this royal palace or royal court put back into its glory would be a wonderful thing, and I would like to think that I might have a small part in that. Now, this is I guess you call it the grand entrance tree line. So we're walking down here now through the trees, and you can see some very interesting palm trees there that have been cut, and some more palm trees. It's a shame, really. Shame they've been cut at the top, but I guess they'll grow back. So, yeah, this side of the road, I guess you call it the south side of the road, there's it's very, very thick trees, but in its redevelopment, this 19.5 hectares on this side of the road will have to be additional hotel rooms, because 10 rooms won't cut it. So you're going to need another 60 at least, another 60 rooms in another adjacent building, which is equally as splendid. Plus the other buildings that have gone into dereliction will have to be restored for the groundsmen, all the equipment and the staff quarters and the security, and other bits and pieces. So we're going to keep the camera rolling. I'm going to show you lower down. So we come on here. Let's swing around so you can see. So that's the entrance. I must say, it's not a particularly grand entrance. It's rather plain Jane, but nonetheless, you can see the trees are rather wonderful. See it around here. There we go. We'll walk down the road here. But all this, everything you see for miles is owned by the family that own this. There's another little building over there. It could be another security office or another reception office. So it's an interesting project. Remember, Portugal was one of the world's leading merchant trading companies. Say discovered South America. What they did with South America was they discovered gold and got fabulously rich, and we're a fabulously rich country, which is why Lisbon is a jewel in the crown now, because it's the architecture is incredible. But they had a slight problem. in 1755 there was a tsunami, and the tsunami, like the one that hit, I think around 2001 or 2002, it was obviously caused by an earthquake out in the Atlantic, and it was the biggest tsunami to hit mainland Europe since. So what happened was all coastal areas got devastated. So that would have been Setúbal as well. And in Lisbon, what happened, they had some religious festival going on, so they had a lot of candles, maybe for the Virgin Mary. And what happened with the tsunami was what often happens with them, is that the water out the inland peninsula, the water subsided. Subsided means it went out, so people could see in the peninsula ships that had sunk, and suddenly these ships were shown and people could see them and walk out to them. So people were rushing out to the ships to try and salvage anything worth money. But of course they didn't realize the fact that the water had suddenly gone was the fact you had a tsunami coming in 1755. And so then you have a massive tidal wave, which may be as high as 30 feet. Remember, when you have tsunamis, the water pressure is colossal. So you had this Catholic religious festival with all the candles. Buildings got hit by the tsunami. Candles got knocked over, caused massive fires. You had earthquakes as well. So it was all just a mess. So it pretty much destroyed 80% of Lisbon. This is why a lot of Portuguese homes now are earthquake proof. They have massive walls and massive windows. There you could see, oh sorry, but let's go back here. This is a picnic area, which is very popular, even though the beach is a bit naff because it needs beautifying. But you can see there's little tables. I'm going to swing it around here. I'm going to swing it around there. There we go. So yeah, it's a nice little area. We're going to walk down here now because I haven't actually been down here, so we can see what's down here. Then we're going to walk down here. There we go. So this is in the park, this is the valley we're walking into now. So we should be about a half a mile down here. Look at the trees, incredible. Walk into the... So very, very quickly, we should see like a valley. Up in the higher parts of the park, it looks almost like a fairy tale valley. When you look down at this part here, it looks spectacular. That looks amazing there. See the palm trees where they've all been planted. Well, they've all been cut as well. They've all been cut at the top. I don't know why they do that. Must be a reason. So anyway, since 1755, you had a very, very rich trading nation, Portugal, which has made massive amounts of money in gold, trading gold when it discovered gold in South America. Suddenly got hit with a tsunami, earthquake and fires, and it never recovered. It never recovered. And its only recovery, believe it or not, is what's going on now. What's going on now with the Portuguese economy and the property market, and with all the instability in the world, it is now the most one of the most peaceful countries, the third most peaceful country out of a survey of 150 countries. So it's got a lot going for it at the moment, and it's obviously got a very good tax system for expats, people to come in, bring their money and their wealth into Portugal. And also, before I came here, we did some research and discovered that in Europe, people pay more for a luxury holiday in Portugal than any other European country. So when they come to be spoilt for their 2 weeks of freedom, they expect to pay more in Portugal than anywhere else, and that's more than the UK. I mean, London hotels are horrific, or UK hotels are horrific. Let's put it that way. The reason I know that is I helped on a couple of makeovers with Alex Polizzi on the Hotel Inspector on Channel 5, and micro budgets, by the way. So I was guest interior designer on a couple of makeovers. So I got to meet twice real Basil Fawlties. So anyway, here we go. We're walking in here. Now this is obviously a road. I'm hoping it goes to where I want it to go to, which is to the valley on this estate. And also more facts about Portugal. They are the world's largest cork producer. Just thought I'd let you know. And obviously olive oil, red wine, port, white wine, they're big exports. Cars, they don't make cars but of their own, but they do make cars for other companies like Volkswagen. Cars and trucks. During the Second World War, they managed to stay neutral. They joined in the First World War. But Second World War, because their empire was falling apart and they're running out of money, they kind of managed to stay neutral like Switzerland did. But they still managed to supply the Germans with tungsten for Germans' tanks and ships to strengthen their steel. And they also managed to supply the Allied forces with the Azores for building new long runways for their Normandy landings, for the bombers bringing in supplies and all the planes bringing in supplies. So they stayed neutral, and it became a hideout during the Second World War for the super rich to hang out. People like deposed King George, sorry, King Edward, deposed King Edward and Mrs. Simpson hung out in Portugal during the Second World War. And also Ian Fleming. Ian Fleming was obviously as a aristocrat. He was recruited and worked for MI6, and so in a very famous Portuguese hotel, I think it's Estrenol, near Lisbon, or on the outskirts of Lisbon, he would mingle and drink with German officers, because obviously the Germans used it as a nice place to chill, and that was his inspiration for his first book, Casino Royale. And also while he was working for MI6 in Fleming, they also got a Spanish man that wanted to work for German intelligence, and he did. German intelligence recruited him. So one of the things they were doing in Portugal was feeding the Germans false information. So they managed to turn this guy, this Spanish man who was working for German intelligence, into a double agent, and they used him to totally bluff when the D-Day landings were going to take place and where they were going to take place. So he was one of the big successes MI6 had during the Second World War to throw the Germans off the track of what was really going to happen. So here we are. We're going into the valley of the beast, the valley of Serra da Arrábida National Park, National Monument, Portugal. What I find amazing is, although it's not 100%, it's very much evergreen, and it's because of this. It's got its own microclimate. It all stays looking so wonderfully green all the time, whereas in other parts of Portugal, it's a very hot country. Often, for things to be green, they need to have water irrigation going on. Although there's obviously a temperature difference between north and south. North is cooler and south is hotter. Okay, here, this is something I haven't seen. This looks rather spectacular. If you look over this side, you see this wonderful hill. Obviously, it's not all it's not all that glitters. On the other side of the hill, there's a cement works, so industrial area. So now we're going to wander down here a little bit more. So yeah, I think as a resort, the palace will make a wonderful resort venue. The beaches can be restored. You can build 60 units, 60 more rooms or more in an adjacent building. You can build staff quarters in the dilapidated buildings that need restoring. You can also build probably 10 to 12 executive homes that can be part of the hotel. They can be rented out to justify them being there, but very luxury, high-end designer homes in the woods, designed for woods, so maybe looking on themselves or curve around the trees. And we have a few designs that would work well for that. So anyway, here we go. We're walking in here. Now I'm hoping when we get to the end now, we're going to walk into the valley and you're going to see what we need to see, which is a second resort area possibility. Now, all this from my right and my left is National Park, and it's never been built on, which is lovely when you find forest that's never been developed. In the UK, we have Thetford Forest, and parts of Milides is very much like that, where you've got 20 kilometres inland of just ancient dunes undulating, and then you have sandbanks in the UK, which is very, very similar to this. Sandbanks is a very, very beautiful area, a nature reserve, and an area of national importance. So, yeah, it's a very, 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 very special. Very, very special. Ooh, honking his horn. Dear. Anyway, so here we go. We're looking at the trees. The trees are spectacular. A little more green than green normally is. And we see, I don't know what's going on here, because we're kind of walking and yeah, we haven't found the valley yet. Not quite sure what's going on, because we should have come across the valley by now. So hopefully we will. So let's see where this takes us. It should, according to Google Maps, it should take us to the valley, probably in about less than a quarter of a mile. So we then should see a great big open plain with derelict farm buildings, with the roofs caving in. Yeah, apparently the park, this 589 hectare site, is maintained by the local town hall. It's through people's rates, and also by the owner, probably from revenue from forestry. I don't think rent from sitting tenants are very big, because there's very few homes on here. And all the Portuguese are really interested in areas like this are resort developments that add additional capacity and a luxury. So additional capacity is a key buzzword, and luxury is the second key word, and foreign investment is the third key word. Since 2016, the Portuguese have had 2 million more people visit their country than live in the country. So that's quite an amazing experience for them. When you think their population is 10.3 million, and you've had around 12.4, 12.5 million people visiting since 2016. And everyone's very, very polite. You find everyone is incredibly polite and very, very helpful, especially if you get lost, especially in Lisbon. If you get lost in Lisbon, people like sat-navs, they'll walk with you for 5 or 10 minutes, taking you to where you want to go. Very, 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 very nice people. And they take a great pride. In their country. You don't see chewing gum on the ground. You don't see big lumps of chewing gum. You don't see, people disrespecting the land. It's all cherished and appreciated. Having said that, I just looked on my right hand side and there's some litter. So So it's just literally, God, it's very unusual. Doesn't normally happen. Anyway, we're walking along here, and we're hopefully going to see what we need to see, which is we're hopefully going to see the bit we need to see, which is the valley. That's it. Yeah. Hope we're going to see the valley. So walking down here through the trees, and today a high of 89. Just so I let you know, it was a bit cloudy earlier. Now the sun's come through. So we're walking along here, and this is very, very strange. Very strange. It's just totally undeveloped. There's a little pathway. I'm not sure what's going on here. But I am looking for a valley, and I haven't seen one yet. Now that looks like it's leading to a valley. So we will have a little look here. But I think it should be a tarmac road like this, what we're looking for. I'm going to walk on a little bit further. Let's see what we've got. I'm not seeing what I need to see, which is the valley. So what I might do is I might stop filming and then restart filming when I found the valley. Because what have we got here? Over here we've got the park, national park. If this was the UK, you'd have deer. You definitely have deer here. Because you don't see deer that much, but they're there. You really do. And I remember hitting one, sadly, in one of my cars, or a car I had. Real shame. Size of a big dog. Really sad. But it just came out of nowhere, and I just heard this bang. I was in a Nissan Micra, so I wasn't speeding. So anyway, I had a blanket, because I was obviously an antique dealer. Had a blanket in the hire car, because on that same stretch of road I'd hit someone in my Volvo Estate, and it gone to be repaired. So anyway, I put the deer, Manchow deer, I think it was a mini deer, in the back of the Nissan Micra, having covered it in a blanket, and took it to a fellow antique dealers who I was going to see, and he said, "Oh my God, yes, that's a deer." He goes, "Oh, my neighbour, he's German. They'll eat anything." So he took the deer off me. Then a few days later, I kind of checked up on him, see how a German enjoyed his deer. I don't call it venison, deer, maybe they do, yeah. And he said, well, no, he didn't eat it in the end, because apparently if a deer dies of stress, the meat goes off. So he'd left it at the bottom of the garden for the foxes. So, yeah. So if you're going to eat deer, it's got to die happy, just so I let you know that. It's got to be in a really good, happy mood when it dies. So now we're going deep into this park. We have seen the valley. And, yeah. I'm not sure if we're really going in the right direction here, because I mean, we should have hit the valley by now. It should have been valley. And what we've got over here? Ah, excellent. You see the numbers on the trees? 5. 5, 5, 5, 5. This is cork production, and you see. I don't know if you can see there. I'm going to zoom in on one so you can see. This is cork farming. So if you see there, let me just do this. You see the cork? There. Cork production. I think it's every 3 years. Every 3 years they take the bark off for cork. Every 3 years. So that's why they number it. So they know what cycle they're in. And they know when they can take it off that tree. But they are the largest cork producers in the world. Largest cork producers in the world, and that's quite an achievement, being the largest in the world. And of course, they're the home of port. Now, port, as you probably already know, comes from Portugal, and it also comes from Porto. So Porto is the home of port. Now, what you probably didn't know is that Porto had the largest metal-spanned bridge. The largest metal-spanned bridge in the entire world in the 1870s for 10 years or so. I don't know how long it was the largest metal-spanned bridge for, but it was for a while. So that was their claim to fame. And it's a very, very beautiful city. I haven't been there yet because I haven't actually bought a car yet. So I'm going to buy a car at some stage and have a little look round more. Anyway, here we go. We seem to be walking through the valley, but we haven't come across the bit I wanted to find. So we're going to carry on walking nonetheless. So you see, it's all very rustic, very, very rustic. And it's very green, quite warm. I've got a rucksack on the back, so when I'm tired I can get a drink or something to eat. I'm not that fit. So let me just sorry, I'm just adjusting the what you see there a little bit better. Now I think we are now about to get our first glimpse of the valley. We are in the valley, don't get me wrong, but it's all trees. What I want to see is the farm and the farmland. Now, it's just so beautifully framed in between these hills. I wouldn't call them mountains, I'll call them hills. And the one we're walking towards is the highest one. I haven't been up it, but make a fantastic mountain bike trail. So yeah, some stage I'll go up that mountain. Might need to have some sort of quad bike or something. Something to help me get out there. Oh yeah, now we're definitely looking at a flat area here. This is obviously Cork Farm. Maybe that's what I saw. Maybe this is what I saw. I saw a farm doing cork. But I just want to see somewhere here. I believe there is an area that will make a phenomenal resort development. And it may be what I was seeing before, but it just looked a bit different because of the Google Maps. Now we're walking along here. What have we got? We've got Cork on the right, we've got Cork on our left, and it's staggeringly beautiful park. It really is absolutely amazing. It's almost like you're in Africa. All these funny trees, like Serengeti. Tropical. So I'm not quite sure where we are. This is our first sign of valley. This is our first sign of proper valley now. This is what I wanted to see what all this is, what it's all used for. This is probably on my, this is what I saw. On my left there's a field. Crop field. Okay. So that's growing something. It looks like there's a model shoot going on there. There's a beautiful girl sitting down in the field with some studio lights over her, and she's been photographed. And it's a beautiful setting. It's a stunning. Oh my God, this is beautiful. Wow. Oh my I know one Portuguese contact of mine was saying to me, well, actually, this side is more beautiful than Troia and Comporta. And when you come here, swing around here. It's looking back there. You expect to be on a zoo. You expect to see monkeys and great animals. Right, here's the farm building that I saw derelict. So there you can see that looking wonderfully, waiting to be restored. And swing around over here. Now that is amazing. That view is astounding. This is amazing. Some form of crop there, but that would be perfect sighting for a resort development. Now we go on this side. This is what I also saw on the other side. So look at that! Isn't that amazing? See, right, the 589 hectares goes all the way up the hill. All the way up that hill. All the way up that hill. And you've got a road cutting through it. So what my thoughts were, but it's probably over this side, probably right one where the farm is. There's probably 100 hectares there that could be turned into a resort. Going through there. Yeah, stunning. Yeah. So there we are. Maybe it's just whiz it around. So you can see there the hill and farm building, the park, road. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, but it's a little bit like when you go into a shop. It doesn't matter how posh a shop is. If you're in Liberty Store and you're looking at the showrooms, and then if you walk a little bit too far and you walk into another room by mistake, you go into like a store and it's all like a higgledy-piggledy mess. This is the showroom. So the park is the showroom, and there'll be bits out of view, like the cement works, which we can't see at all, which won't be so pretty, but you don't really see them. It doesn't really matter. Here you've got the cork production. But yeah, so I mean, I think there's a Portuguese law that you cannot chop a cork tree down. They're just protected, totally protected, so you can't touch them. Which is good. Yeah. So there we are. I'm going to wrap it up now. So you've seen the palace and you've had a little tour. On both sides of us now we've got cork production, and then you've got a field and you've got a farm. But yeah, very, 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 very interesting. Very interesting national park, which, although is very, very beautiful, not many people know about it. Not many people know about it, and I doubt whether many people from Setúbal ever really come up here much. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up now, so enjoy the information and have a nice day. Take care. Bye.